Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it?
Oh, I'm getting pumped.
Such a pleasure to have you here, Allie. Thank you. I'll be in Facebook jail before the end of this run.
Probably. I'll try to help you out.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all out here.
Sure.
White Lane. Hi, Sam. How are you, brother? Hi, Paul. I broadcast from Be Live TV. It's a format. You can get a 14-day trial. Called Be Live TV. What do you guys think of my intro music? I like it. Be Live TV. You can Google it. They give you a 14-day trial. It works much better than the Facebook Live option on Facebook because I lost a lot of opportunities because of the connection issues and people's Wi-Fi's are different. There's a lot of buffering. You know, I lost out on a lot of opportunities, so I wanted to up my game and do something really cool. And this affords me that option. I can do a lot of different things with this format. Sam Harvey, 60 days clean and sober. Congratulations, my brother. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin. And we showcase and celebrate the lives of people in recovery from all aspects of the addiction issues. And we have an amazing and funny, beautiful, wistful, just multi-talented guest tonight. She is what what we're trying to do here on the Survivor Series. We're trying to showcase success stories and people that have that testimony of overcoming, that leads through the trials, the tribulations into success. And she's working on some real long-term sobriety right now. So everybody, please welcome Allie Ruge.
Hey. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show, and thank you, Jam, for the recommendations. I feel like I have a lot to live up to with that intro.
Thank you, Jam Alker, my rock and roll recovery brother from Chicago, Illinois. He'd been my friend for the long haul. We love and support each other. He said, "Man, you got to have Allie Ruge on your show." And I'm like, "Cool! I would love to have Miss Allie Ruge." Tell us where you're from, Allie.
Originally born and raised in Tampa, Florida, which I know is weird. I don't think there's a lot of people from Florida, but I'm actually third generation. My dad and grandma are from Tampa, so I don't know anything different. People tell me Florida is weird, and I'm like, well, that's just how it is,
Florida is weird.
Yeah.
and it's funny because we only live 45 minutes from each other. We know a lot of the same people. We've been doing the same thing for the same period of time, basically. And, it's cool to link up with someone that has the same desires, the same goals, the same experiences, and wants to use their experiences for the same thing. So I want to thank you for being here. And it takes a lot of courage to get on, Facebook live feeds and spill your guts, and just let it all hang out in the hopes that someone else will get some hope and inspiration from your story, because that's why we do this. It's just to help those out there, those people on the lunatic fringe out there, just hanging on, just hanging on for dear life, that don't know that there is a better way to live, or those people that have been in recovery that have lost their way. We want to welcome everybody back to recovery, back to the family, back to the core, where this is where hope and love emanates from, is right here.
Absolutely. I was definitely one of those people. So it's really cool to be a walking testimony and say that, recovery is possible.
Absolutely. So take us on a trip down memory lane. What was it like for little Allie growing up?
So what's strange, and I always say, like, I always wish that I had an excuse to be a vicious drug addict like I am. And I did not. I had two amazing parents, married 33 years, a beautiful childhood growing up, and a upper middle class family. I'm an only child, so I was spoiled rotten. I had anything I wanted in the world. And of course, should have known from an early age that I was an addict, because nothing was ever good enough. If I got something, I wanted more of it. And if I got one of something, I wanted two of it, or 10, So, I did a lot of traveling growing up, and it was funny because my mom was like this perfectionist. She's still to this day a microbiologist, like super smart lady. And my dad was like this hippie photographer. And so growing up, I swear I was supposed to be like born a dude, because I loved like playing football, and like I was raised on like Led Zeppelin and Bob Marley. And I was such a daddy's girl and always wanted to hang out with my dad. And I really, like, I don't have any childhood trauma. No one in my family is an addict or alcoholic. And so I blamed that for a long time. Like, I didn't understand how I could have turned out the way I did coming from such a good family. But what's interesting now is like the new generation addict, they are coming from the suburbs and they are coming from good families. And I've learned to stop kind of questioning it and just start saying, well, what can I do about it? What I can tell you is I was like the fat girl in school, like growing up. And I think it's so funny. There's like bully awareness. I saw this like sign the other day, like bully proof your child. And I'm like, where the hell was all that stuff when I was growing up? I was like always picked on and called fat. And so it's like this really cliche story of like, I turned to the bad kids in school and had my first drink, my first cigarette, and my first hit of weed, like all in the same night. And it wasn't like, I always hear people say that, like, oh, I had my first sip of alcohol and I knew that's what I had always been looking for. And that's not necessarily how I felt, but it was the first time in my life where like I felt cool enough and I felt pretty enough and I felt a part of, because I never really felt like that before. So that's how it all started.
I mean, that sounds very very, very common for a lot of us, and I think it's cool that you grew up like a tomboy. You like to do all that kind of stuff like that. I think it's very, very attractive, and guys growing up love the tom girls. They can put their hair in a hat, and be cool and just hang out and chill. But when you started experimenting with alcohol, at what age was that?
So I was 13. And like I said, I had this perfectionist mom. So I always had to I lived this double life, which I found out like a lot of other people could relate to. So I would go in the beginning, I would, get straight A's in school. I always did really well in school. And then at night I would sneak out and just go run amok. And by the time I was 15, I always joke, I was 15 sneaking out of my house, blowing lines of cocaine with 35-year-old men. And I'm like, wait a minute, should I press charges? I don't know. It's so weird to think about now that I'm older, now I'm 29 and I couldn't imagine doing coke with a 15-year-old, but that was me. And I thought I was partying and I was having a good time, I didn't think anything of it. Like I said, I could live that double life where I did really well in school and please mommy and daddy during the day. And then at night, I just turned into this, I was the girl who would get trash and fall into the pool, but it wasn't a pool party. You know what I mean? I was just
right?
a mess. Yeah, I'll always be like, I'll out drink any of you guys, and then I try to punch like the biggest dude at the party, like for absolutely no reason. Just a complete mess.
I'll do whatever you can do, only I'll do it bigger, right?
Exactly. Right. And I'm like, I don't know who I was trying to impress because it's like no
You
one
feel
was
like maybe
impressed.
you had a chip on your shoulder, you had something to prove,
Right.
or was that the effects of the drug and alcohol?
I think it was because like internally I felt so like unworthy and I had such low self-esteem that I thought like, if I'm the loudest, if I'm like the most outrageous person, then I'll be noticed, or then, like people will think I'm cool, which I don't think that's what ended up happening, but I tried.
Hmm. So as you went through high school, you were obviously a very intelligent student. You're telling me, we were talking beforehand. Your hobby is arithmetic. You like math. You like algebra. All those things that everyone else hates. It's something to do with the workings of your mind. Do you feel like maybe you were searching for something more in your drug usage?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I did, like I said, I always had, like, my mom wanted me to be, have you seen that show, like Toddlers and Tiara? She wanted me to be like this little beauty pageant. And like I said, I just want to play football with my dad and like run around barefoot. And so it was always like this inner turmoil of like who I wanted to be. Like my whole life, I said I want to be a doctor because my parents have like their master's degree. So like I want to be better than them and I want to, like make them proud. It was always about like making my parents proud, but not really like what I truly wanted. So I think there was that internal battle of like, trying to numb myself and numb my feelings because I wasn't like being true to myself. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think during those beginning stages of our drug usage, we're looking for our identification, who we are, what makes us tick, where we're going to take our life. Um, as your drug usage, continued and your alcoholism, what kind of consequences did you face?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess I'll just run through the whole story. So, I did graduate high school with a 5.5 GPA. I got a full ride scholarship to the University of South Florida. And like you said, all these cool, amazing things going on. And they talk about like when you cross this line in addiction, right? So before you cross that line, you can put it down, like say something tragic happens, like a lot of women get pregnant, and then all of a sudden they can stop, right? Once we cross that line, it doesn't matter what happens. We can't stop even when we want to. That's what makes us addicts. So I think in high school, I hadn't crossed that line yet. And when I had went into college, at some point during my freshman year in college is where I crossed that line. So I found out I was in Florida during the massive like pill mill crisis. So I found out we would steal like pads, like prescription pads, and like write our own prescriptions. And by the time I was 17, I was physically addicted to oxycodone at the time, really just any kind of opiate. Soon after that turned into heroin, and I did that every day. But at 17, I was like this great college student and had all this stuff that mommy and daddy gave me. And then by the time I would flash forward 3 years later, living in a motel room with a very nice Jamaican gentleman who happened to be my drug dealer. That's what I was telling people. My poor parents. I ended up getting arrested with this guy. Now, mind you, I have like this really nice like Christian family, and I get arrested in like my mugshot and this guy's mugshot with like Jamaican tattoo flags like all over his face. Like, yeah, they were mortified. So,
Wow.
that was the love of my life because he sold heroin. So
Right.
he
Yeah.
got deported back to Jamaica. But yeah, so I got kicked out of school. I lost my scholarship. They kindly asked me not to come back, and I went to my first treatment center when I was 20 years old. And they had told me I had no intention of getting clean. And by the way, this particular treatment center didn't believe in any type of narcotic for detox. So I detoxed with Pepto-Bismol and Tylenol, and it off a 4-year heroin addiction, which was brutal.
Yeah.
So, and I really thought that was enough. I was like, I never want to feel this ever again. I'm not going to use anymore. And they told me, they said, if you don't stop doing drugs now, you're going to end up getting arrested. You're going to end up overdosing. You're going to end up selling your body for drugs, like all these terrible, disgusting things, right? And remind you, I'm just kind of like this, like, nice little girl that likes to hang out in the ghetto sometimes and like shoot heroin, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry.
Girl, right?
Right. I know. And so I still, to this day, I like blast Biggie in my car, and I'm like, who do I think I am? Like, I still think I'm some like thug or something, and I have to remind myself, like, I'm this like white girl from the suburbs. But anyways, so yeah, they told me like all these terrible things are going to happen to me, and I said, thank you for the 28-day vacation. I don't think you know who I am, but I'm going to leave now. And I went back to doing exactly what I was doing. And what's interesting is I ended up going back to that same treatment center not even a year later, and I got the same therapist. And I said, everything that you said that was going to happen to me, it happened. Right. Yes. And so it's so interesting because it's like I work in treatment now, and I tell these kids like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And it's like I'm talking to my past self. It's so, I mean, we don't believe it until we go through it.
That's right. Right. And then when looking back, we still sometimes can't believe that we did.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're working in treatment and you see your former self, how do you address that person? You get ghetto with them? You get hardcore?
So it depends on the person. Like if that's what they need, then I'll give it to them. If they like, what I realize is a lot of addicts is like, for me personally, and what I've realized is like a lot of us, not to sound corny, but like a lot of us just need to be loved and like accepted, and so that's how a lot of times how I deal with it is like, let them know like you are worthy of a good life, you're capable of success. Like I truly believe that for each and every person. And it's like it's almost like loving these people until they can love themselves, because that's what people did for me. It sounds like super cheesy, but that's
the way it is. So
that's the way it is.
So 2 years ago, you found yourself on the Dr. Oz show. How in the world did that happen?
So I wish I had some like really cool story. I always say it was just a God thing. I also believe in like the law of attraction. Like if I put, good energy out there, I'm going to get good energy back, and kind of visualizing like what I want my life to be like, And so one of my coworkers was on the news up in Maryland, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, he's getting to talk to people on a national level, and I kind of like pictured myself doing that. I'm like, that's my purpose. That's what I want to do. I have, I've overcome so much, even in sobriety. Like I want to help people with this, with my testimony, and my friend who you knew as well, shout out to Allie Litwack. She's had a friend that worked on the producer of the Dr. Oz, and they asked her, hey, this is how she tells the story, do you know anybody who is really messed up on drugs and isn't messed up anymore? And she was like, yeah, Allie Ruge. So he called me, and like I said, I thought it was some like scam. I thought she was messing with me. And I did a phone interview, and it was on a Friday, and they said, can you be in New York on Monday? And I said, sure. And like, I really had no idea what I was getting into. But thankfully it ended up being real, and it was a super cool experience.
So what was it like, the show? What was that like? How did that, how was the layout of the show? I mean, how they prepped you for it, what they wanted from you. And, at the end of it, how did it leave you, how did it leave you wanting to do more of this? Just go through the scenario of the show.
So it was truly an eye-opening experience. And when I got there, it was interesting because they don't tell you much beforehand. They just kind of like throw you into the fire and like hope you swim, but
it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, they amp you up. They like tell you how amazing you are and how beautiful you are, and you're gonna do great. And oh, you're so powerful. They just tell you all these amazing things so you feel comfortable on camera. And so they didn't tell me that Dr. Drew was going to be doing the interview. And I am like the biggest Dr. Drew. Like I'm obsessed with Dr. Drew. And so yeah, I kind of like.
You got a 2-for-1.
I did. I totally got a 2-for-1.
One of you.
I was in a doctor sandwich. Yes, it was super cool. So, yeah, and then also what they don't tell you. So then I tell them my vicious like overdoses. I contracted MRSA. I almost died in the hospital. All this stuff, and that's one of the reasons I got sober. And then I get to the show, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is about Adderall addiction," and I'm like, okay, which is fine because I did Adderall, but they're asking me like the consequences of my Adderall addiction, which really led to like smoking crack and like shooting speedballs. So, but Dr. Oz is like, you can't talk about any other drugs. So I tried to like slide it in there. So they do your hair and makeup. Like I said, they make you feel just super amazing. And then they put you up there, they walk you out. There's a live audience. There's this like huge multi-million-dollar like production set up in your face, and I'm sitting in between. To the right of me is Dr. Drew, the left of me is Dr. Oz, and honestly, like I just blacked out. Everyone's like, "Oh, how'd you do?" I had no idea. I just like blacked out because I just couldn't. I mean, I was homeless 2 years prior to that, like eating out of dumpsters. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, and that's really what happened, is it opened to my eyes to like what's possible and like what's out there. And so yeah, they didn't say rolling, they didn't say anything, and they like prep you beforehand with these questions. And then Dr. Oz starts answering me these questions that like none of them were in the intro of like what they prepped me for. But like, thank God I'm like, you know, just can kind of speak from the heart. So it flowed nicely. But it was interesting because, you know, I answered the questions about my Adderall use, which was primarily like during my college years. And then I had mentioned, oh, well, it, you know, it led me to harder drugs because obviously crack was cheaper.
much more readily available.
Exactly. So, but apparently they ended up like cutting that part out. So it was just hilarious how like it goes from, yes, I was doctor shopping for Adderall. I was taking, you know, an entire prescription a day and all this. And then here I am like dying from a blood infection in the hospital with no family or friends, you know, so it's just funny like how that played out. But yeah, they were super nice. Dr. Drew is amazing. He was super kind. We talked about how we felt about Suboxone, which I'll just say I'm not on Suboxone. That's all I'm going to say about that. Right. And I do believe, you know, whatever helps people not die. Obviously, that's like the biggest issue we're dealing with now. But yeah, I joked with you after the show. They kind of were just like, "All right, thank you for your time," and then that was it. Yeah, exactly right. So it was so cool because all these people thought like I was gonna become famous, and you know, people start coming out the woodworks like, "Oh, I know this girl," and then like they just dumped me off in an alley.
You grab the sandwich out of your mouth and kick you out the door.
They like wiped the makeup off my face and like messed up my hair. They're like, "Take that back now."
So, in leaving that experience, how did that, you know, define who Allie Ruge was and what you wanted to do with your life?
So once again, like that, it kind of just, I always knew, especially from like the recovery program I work in, my purpose is to help others and show others that recovery is possible, no matter how dark your story may be. And that moment and like being able to tell my story on national television really just opened my eyes to like, this is why I went through the hell that I went through. So if I could touch and help save one life, then my mission on earth is complete. You know, that all of it didn't go in vain, like all of the pain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So what does Allie do today on a daily basis to maintain her recovery, her sobriety? I really don't care what fellowship you practice. Just how do you maintain your spirituality, maintain your sobriety?
So for me, it is kind of difficult because I'm not religious at all. I don't go to church, and now these people are telling me like I need a spiritual connection in order to stay sober. Um, so I kind of found my own route. I kind of take a little bit from a bunch of religions and make it my own. I really into like Buddhism and Hinduism and karma and all that kind of stuff. So when I pray, I say I kind of just like speak it into existence. Karma is a higher power of mine. If I put out good, I'm gonna get good. If I put out bad, which still happens in sobriety, like if I do shitty things, I'm gonna get bad things back. So yeah, definitely prayer meditation is huge for me. I personally still attend 12-step meetings. I have a sponsor. I sponsor other women. That's huge for me. And also I know what me and you discussed, self-care. Like, I don't think it's talked about enough. Self-care is so important to treat addiction for body, mind, and spirit. So whatever that looks like for me personally is like cheesy. I don't know when I like turned into a girly girl, but like getting my nails done or getting massages or going to the gym or just eating like a healthy meal or, just doing something that my soul likes, or, that feeds my spirit. And like I said, for people that looks different. I love horseback riding. I love swimming. Going to the beach feeds my soul, watching the sunset, that kind of like corny, cheesy stuff. But
I'm a big fan.
Now I've got this like stars app on my phone. And like anytime there's like really bright stars, I'll whip it out. And I just like, get caught up looking at it. Just never like paid attention to the world before. You know what I mean? I would only focus on like getting a fix and getting high, not being dope sick, smoking more crack, whatever the case was. Absolutely. And now I can like appreciate nature and appreciate tunnel vision, right? More.
Through clouded eyes, once we remove the clouds, the film of drug haze, the world opens up. Does it not?
Absolutely.
People talk about the pink cloud and how bright the colors of the world are. We lived in doom, gloom, chaos, death, and destruction for a long period of time. The world is a beautiful place to be when you're clean and sober.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you give somebody a hope shot out there that's contemplating. Well, maybe I may have this thing called an addiction or alcoholism, and I want to believe that there's a better way to live out there. What would you say to somebody like that?
Well, for me, like I couldn't do anything on my own. So I had to ask for help. I had to talk. For me, I had to talk to somebody. I'm still stubborn and I'm still like an only child brat. So I wanted to talk to somebody who's been through what I've been through. I wanted to hear, okay, have you done this and used this and acted like this? And you're telling me now you're clean and sober. How did you do that? You know what I mean? So I'd say reaching out, like obviously, Higgy, you're an amazing inspiration. Jam's an amazing inspiration. Reach out to somebody, even if it's I see there's a lot of like Facebook support groups posting something up like, hey, I'm really struggling. I think I might have a problem, but I'm not sure, and hopefully like a bunch of people will comment and message. I see so much support available all over. So it's really just about putting your hand out is the most important thing. And then being, I hate saying willing because there's a lot of times like I'm not willing. Like I did not want to stop. I recently celebrated 4 years clean and sober in June.
Whoa! You just went 4 years?
Yeah, that's number 4. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I know. It's like it still feels like a dream. Like I have to think, I'm like, wait, have I really not like used drugs for 4 years? Almost 4.5 years now. It's crazy. Because for me that didn't seem possible. It really didn't. And so what I did is I met some really strong, amazing women who had been through similar situations as me. And I said, like, the first step, help me. I can't do this. Show me. It's really that simple.
I don't know how to live. And my first thought is always wrong. But then
always.
Then I start thinking my first 5, 6, 7 thoughts may be wrong too. So I have how important is sponsorship for you in your program?
For me, sponsorship's everything. I always tell people and I love how you said first thought wrong. And hopefully my sponsor's watching right now. Shout out to Chelsea. I love you. Yeah, I asked her, I ran like and still to this day, not as much anymore. But my first year, I bounced every decision off of her because I was terrified, like, of myself, because I was like, I finally realized every decision I made for myself got me high. So I'm like, right. So my first year, I like consulted. I would literally ask her like, "Hey, should I have coffee or Red Bull in the morning?" And she's like, "You don't have any money. Why don't you go to like the eye opener meeting at 7 a.m. and go get some free coffee?" And I'm like, "Okay," like stuff like that.
That's great advice.
Yeah, I was so shocked, dude. Like I couldn't even, think properly.
Yeah, I can relate. I can relate for sure. Let me see. I had some really cool questions for you. What's your hobbies?
Like I said, I love, and it's funny, I don't get as much into it as I'd like. I've newly found a new hobby. I love traveling, which I guess I already knew, but now I have the freedom to be able to do that. And I was a swimmer. I was captain of my swim team in high school. I love swimming laps. I love horseback riding. I wish I could like find the time to do it more often. But yeah, I love like a lot of my time is spent. I'm still in school. I went back to college at 60 days sober, and I'm still just plugging away at like 1 or 2 classes at a time. So I go to school, which keeps me busy. But yeah, really, it's just about giving back. And I never thought I'd say that. It's like become a hobby, I guess, because I was like forced to do it. If you start doing something enough, like I think you start to like it. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm taking a shout out to Lyle Freed. I'm taking a mission trip to Haiti on December 7th.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so Lyle's so incredible. And so we're really excited about that. I've been wanting to go for a while now and finally had the opportunity to go. And so just traveling and like experiencing life, like that's my hobby. It's just like experiencing this different cultures, different experiences, different whatever is out there. I truly believe we only have this one life, and I want to cram as much like fun and good stuff in it as I can,
Good stuff. Good stuff. What kind of music do you like?
Oh God, this is a terrible question. I will go to a meeting.
Do you like B-Rain and We Are a Cloud Gang?
Oh, I don't even know who that is. I'm terrible.
You will know.
I like Jam Alker. That's it.
You're about to find out.
Okay, good. No, I don't know if it's like if you take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. I'll like spit some fire at a meeting about God and spirituality, and then I will go listen to like gangster thug hip hop in my car. Like that's just what I like. I don't know why. I'm trying to open my horizon. My sponsor listens to like Christian gospel music, and she like tries to get me to like it, and I just can't. No, I like alternative too. I love like the corny, like Taking Back Sunday, all the like 90s alternative bands. Those are my go-to. So.
You sound well balanced.
I try. I throw some Lana Del Rey in there too, and Billie Eilish is going. Eilish. I always say her name wrong.
So take a moment and scroll through the comments and give some shout outs to people that you recognize. You have some very, very, very adoring fans in here.
Oh God, I'm scared. My girl Devin has been super excited.
For who
Devin,
you do.
You know I love you. All my coworkers, Aaron, you're awesome. It's weird.
Aaron Almeida in here. How you doing, sir?
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
I don't know why it's not showing me that many. I can only see a few. Sean, I love you. He says I saved him numerous times. Man, we've gone over this, and I was actually thinking about Sean when I said that. I'm trying to like love this kid until he loves himself, and I think finally he's at a place where he's seeing that he's worthy of a good life. So shout out, Sean. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Anybody that's watching this live feed, trust and believe that you are worthy of love, to feel it, give it, and receive it. find people that are on the same path as you, that exemplify a life that you want to live, and just reach out. When someone reaches out, there will be a hand that reaches back to you. You know, the fellowships are an amazing place to nurture relationships and to find yourself again. You know, under all these layers of guilt, shame, remorse, the collateral damage, the destructive tendencies we have in relationships, all that stuff can be taken away, and you'll be able to find your place in this world. And I trust and believe that recovery is for everyone, and the 12 steps will work for any life situation. How do you feel?
Anyone. I always tell my mother's never done a drug in her life, and I'm like, you need to work the 12 steps. Like, you have anger issues, like, you need to work on yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a shout out to your employer, who you work for?
Sure. So what's really cool is I didn't really say that, but I went to 10 different treatment centers, 27 detoxes and 7 psych wards. So I usually always start my story with that, because I really thought that I was hopeless, you know. So what's really cool is I am working for the 10th and final treatment center I went to. And their Florida facility is called Treasure Coast Recovery. And we have facilities in Florida, Arizona, and California. So the entire company is treatment management, behavioral health. But it's so cool to, like, and it's very nostalgic to be at the place I got sober at almost 5 years ago. Because I had no intentions of staying clean at all. And I totally believe it was like the staff there and just everyone that just kept cheering me on, even when I didn't want to live anymore, and I just kept going, man. You know.
Good for you. You're an amazing example of what, you know, the power of recovery, the power of hard work. You know, working the 12 steps, having a positive support network, and what it takes to face our demons and our deep dark past, to get rid of all of that baggage, and to be able to walk through all of that fear, to have a life of purpose and destiny. You're living your destiny today, and you're a fantastic role model for other young ladies, the other women in the program, other women that may need some hope and guidance. Man, reach out to Allie. She's got a lot of experience. She helps people on a daily basis. Not only, you know, just, she doesn't do a whole lot of social media stuff. She has hands-on experience in helping women change their lives, and apparently other men as well.
Right. I try to help as many people as I can. I don't care your gender, but definitely hope is the main priority for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you for being with me tonight. It really means a lot to me. I'm glad we were able to connect, and now we have this friendship to build on, to move forward, and we'll try to help as many people as we can in going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Higgy. I know the longer I stay sober, the more I ramble. So I appreciate you.
You have another radio show coming up. Is that right? Yeah.
So we're doing, I don't know if you know Jessica with Slang and Hope Radio.
They're my people. Those are my people.
I bonded with her, which is really hilarious. She's up in Illinois with Jam, and I bonded with her instantly. She's an amazing human being, so I'm super excited about that. That's going to be November 26th, and if rumor has it, Jam Alker is going to be co-hosting. So that is going to be super fun. I don't know, he might kill me for saying that, but should be a really good time.
He's on there periodically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I was just hiking in Maine with with Slang and Hope Radio and the guys from Climb for Recovery. We love and support each other. You know, the Dwayne Lauder, SoberForLifeRadio.com, Chris Freeman, SoberWorksNetwork.com, SoberWorks.com, Slang and Hope Radio. We cross promote each other. Jam's in there. Brian McCall, Rim One, Frank Morgan, DJ D-Rock, A-Live Panda. These are some people that you'll get to know if you start following the No More Heroin page. I have some sponsored music videos by them. Thank you. I'm honored to add you to our network of people.
I'm honored to be added. So thanks, Heggy.
You have successfully completed your very first Survivor Series, baby.
Yes, rock on. Yeah.
Is there anything you would like
the
to
music again? Play the music again.
play the music? Play the music. Okay. So, is there anything you would like to say in closing? You want to, spit some fire.
Well, in closing, I guess just the main thing I want people to know, because I was one of those girls who I was blacklisted from treatment centers. I was told I was going to die. I had people distance themselves from me because they said, I don't want to get close to you, and then I'm going to have to bury you, and all this stuff. So I think the main message is no matter how far, let's say, down the scale you've gone, or how deep you've dug your hole and you think there's no way out, like me and Heggy and so millions of other people are testaments that you can live a beautiful, successful, sober life. So
That is a fact. And the fact that you and I, both hopeless dope fiends, are here
baby.
actually making a difference in this world as dopeless hope fiends speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Keep doing the good work you're doing. Please stay in touch with me. Let me know when your show comes up. I'll be glad to share that. Jump on there and chop it up with you guys a little bit. But shout out to Climb for Recovery, Slinging Hope Radio. Love all these guys. Anyways, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in to No More Heroines, the Survivor Series. Well done, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Good night, everybody. Peace out.